AT&T caused a flurry of fury when they blocked a server from the online forum 4Chan. On this episode of Hacks, we'll look at the DOS attack against 4Chan and how and why AT&T reacted. The trouble all started with neither AT&T nor 4Chan. A third-party attacker, possibly a rival forum, started a denial-of-service attack known as a TCP SYN flooding or SYN attack. First, let's look at what's supposed to happen when you request a web page. Your computer, let's call it home, sends a SYN request to the web server, SYN for synchronized sequence numbers. In this case, the server is img.4chan.org. 4chan's server responds with an ACK flag, short for acknowledge, and then your computer responds with a SYN ACK, and from there the connection is made. Now, in 4chan's case, the attacker sent SYN requests with spoofed IP addresses. In other words, the requests appeared to come from some other computer or computers. For this example, let's call one of the computers 127.55.55.127. 4chan's server responded with an ACK. But since 127.55.55.127 never sent the SYN in the first place, it didn't know why it was getting that ACK, so it either sends an RST flag or, more likely, nothing at all. Now, if 4Chan gets nothing at all, it may send 4 or 5 more ACKs for every SYN it receives, just to make sure it didn't miss something. This whole scenario can take around 3 minutes to play out. So now you can see the problem. If the attacker is sending a bunch of SYNs from a bunch of spoofed addresses, the attacked server is going to run out of resources responding to them. The flood of traffic not only fills up 4Chan, but also floods innocent bystanders. In 4Chan's case, some of these bystanders were in the AT&T network. Some were in other networks like unwired broadband, but since AT&T's the big kahuna, they got all the attention. AT&T blocked all traffic coming from the 4Chan server, sending out the ACK flags, that IMG server. This stopped the ACKs from flooding into AT&T's network, but also prevented any legitimate requests from their network to the 4Chan server. Now, a few AT&T subscribers who suddenly couldn't get to img.4chan.org figured AT&T was blocking the often controversial site, so they started grumbling. 4Chan complained that AT&T should have only filtered their server for the sites who had been spoofed. However, if AT&T had done that and the attackers caught on, the attackers could have just spoofed different IP addresses. AT&T was taking the rather cautious approach of blocking the entire server, making it irrelevant what IP addresses were spoofed. Now, 4Chan did filter the DOS attack so that it didn't bring down their site, but they were still passing along the ACK request, which caused the trouble. Once they stopped that from happening, AT&T lifted the ban on img.4chan.org, and all went back to the peaceful, happy land it had been before. Sort of. Well, except for the CNN iReport 4Chan users put up claiming that the AT&T CEO was dead. But that got taken down too. Hope that shed some light on the shenanigans of the weekend of July 26, 2009. I'm Tom Merritt, CNET.com.